Welcome to the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl Watchlist show today on the 6th of January 2022, first show in the new year here. I'm Lorenz Lineweber, joined today by Vaughn Hutchins. Really excited to get into it. We got a jam-packed show, a couple national champions on here. But Vaughn, first of all, how you doing today, man?
What up, fellas? Man, I'm having mic issues on my end. Everything sounds underwater. Hopefully, I don't sound underwater. I'm just excited to be on the show today. Man, we got a full lineup. We got a bunch of guys in that's going to talk a lot of football. We're going to talk a lot of NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. We're going to get with a bunch of players. So I'm just anxious to get it started.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it, too. I would like to also welcome our director for the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, Dane Vandernat. Dane, how you doing today?
Doing great, Lorenz. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great too. I'm excited to get into it. As I said earlier, we've got a couple of national champions on the show today, and let's start off with it. Jaquez Ezzard, Sam Houston State wide receiver and especially punt return specialist. Let's bring him on here. Jaquez, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thank y'all for having me on here, man. How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. Jaquez, you out there training already, man?
Yes, sir. This is my first day. I just touched down. I drove, I think, 9.5 hours from Atlanta to get down here, man. Trying to get that work in.
Where are you at? Looks beautiful.
I'm in I'm somewhere in, I think it's Broward. I don't know what kind of I'm in. I'm in Florida somewhere.
That's all right, man. At least it's sunny out there, man. It's like 8 degrees here in Kansas City, so I'm already envious of the scenery you got there.
Yeah, man.
Well, hey, Jaquez, man, talk to us a little bit about your story. Alert our audience about you, man. Obviously, last 2 years you've been down Sam Houston. You started out at Howard, coming out of Georgia. Talk to us a little bit about you starting up at Howard and then why you made the trek on down Sam Houston.
Yeah, man, I want to thank Howard for, giving me the opportunity, taking that chance on me. Everybody overlooked me, and they gave me that chance when I graduated high school to come and play ball there. Had a little setback 2016, but came back when Mike London Sr. became the head coach there. They took a chance on me, gave me an opportunity, put me in the offense, a whole new offense, some offense I ain't never been in before. We threw a ball around a lot. I was able to be a big contributor in that offense. And, when they left, new coaching staff came in. That was my third coaching staff change that I had experienced at Howard. It wasn't a fit for me, so I decided to take that red shirt and bet on myself and take a grad transfer year to Sam Houston. I didn't know about Sam Houston before I transferred there. I had to talk to some people about it or whatever. It's a great program. I appreciate the coaching staff and the Bearcat community for allowing me to take part in that run we had. 21 wins straight, from February to December. National championship win. It's just a great experience, man. I'm proud to be where I'm at now.
No, that's great, man. I was telling Lorenz and Vaughn here that, the thing I appreciate the most about you as a player, I think you have more one-on-one make-miss ability than any other player in this year's draft class. With you, you get the ball in space, man, whether it's on a punt return, whether it's on a bubble screen, whether it's, you running a drag across the field, man. You can take the ball and all the way to the house on any play. What is it about your game, man? Where'd you learn some of that? I mean, did you grow up? Were you always like that, man? Is that something that you've worked on? Man, tell us about that a little bit, about kind of the strong points of your game.
Well, when I was younger, I used to play this game called Throw 'em Up, Bust 'em Up in the backyard. And the objective was you got to make a man miss or you're going to get hit. So I guess them instincts come from, playing out there in the backyard with the older guys, just out there making moves and stuff. And I guess it just carried over until today. I just go out there, try to get a good feel of the game, see what's going on, see who playing aggressive, see who doing this, see who doing that. And I just try to make my magic off of that, man.
Fellas, man, I'm back on the show. Quez, man, quick thing, man. Obviously, man, I see that you're talented in space with the ball in your hand. But as an undersized guy myself, Dane, other scouts, teams, they're going to beat you up, man. Tell us about, from a toughness aspect, from a mental toughness and physical toughness, what you got to do in order to survive as a little receiver, and then what type of versatility that you have.
Oh man, to survive, you gotta have that mentality, man. You're gonna take some shots. When I went to Sam, that's the most I ever got hit. I don't think I ever got hit that much at Sam, and I did experience them bang ups on my body and stuff. But you know, that treatment, that ice bath, the extra stem, the extra weight room, all that stuff help you maintain for a tough season. Versatility, man, just I can do it all, man. Whatever you need, just throw me on the field and watch me go to work, man.
And Jaquez, the NFLPA Bowl, it's just a couple weeks away here. What is one thing that you really want to prove to all the scouts and NFL personnel that are going to be out there for the event?
More than prove to them, I want to prove to myself that I can handle the doubters and what they saying. You know, they never took a chance on me. They always put me as the small guy, slow, whatever they gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Prove to myself that, you know what I'm saying, it's football, man. I don't care what school they come from. I don't care what their stars was in high school. I don't care about that, man. You gotta suit up and you gotta play ball at the end of the day. So prove to myself that I can stand out there up with them guys. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't no difference, man. We all bleed. We all human. Just show myself that I can play out there with them guys.
Absolutely.
Without question, man. Jaquez, what's your biggest matchup that when you go up against a DB, what do you try to do? What's your mentality when you go line up on the line of scrimmage?
Win at all costs. Like I said, when I got to Sam Houston, that was the first time I really experienced press coverage. So I didn't really struggle because my quickness allows me to, you know, beat a lot of guys off the line. But man, coverage, I just gotta, you know, I come up with a plan depending on the route. If I'm gonna beat them inside, outside, and then, you know, I just try to win at the top, take them up top if I got to, whatever I gotta do. I just gotta win the route.
You know, hey, you know what? You do a ton of winning. We love watching this highlight tape they got rolling here, man. I think you're showing the people a lot of those skills that we saw when we were evaluating you as a player the last couple of years. Where are you weighing at these days, Jaquez? Because obviously, as Vaughn alluded, you're shorter statured. However, you're thicker built in the lower body, and you get a lot of your power, a lot of your strength in your lower body. What are you going to weigh in in a couple of weeks here, and we gonna get on out to LA?
Probably about 195, around that way. I'm trying to stay. I feel good right here.
Good, man. Good.
Well, man, Quez, man, we're excited about the chance to get you out, man. You've already proved to doubters that you can go from an HBCU to a different program, go to an FCS program, go to Sam Houston and still produce just like you did at Howard. And that mentality, that competitiveness that you talk about is something that myself, being a small DB or a small athlete, I mean, you're gonna experience these doubters. So as long as you're competitive in the game, as long as you're competitive throughout practice, and as long as you see, just like you say, man, we all bleed the same. So it's a matter of showing up every day. Tell us a little bit about you outside of ball, man. What does Quez like to do outside of ball? That way the scouts, man, get to know Quez.
Me, I'm real laid back. I don't like to get into nothing. I'm introverted. I like my peace and quiet. You know what I'm saying? Especially like after a super long day. I spend a lot of time with my girl. You know, I just came from up there spending the holidays with her. We talk on the phone a lot and stuff like that. But besides that, I don't party. I don't really hang out. That just ain't my thing, man. I'm just real laid back, real focused on what I gotta do, what I gotta handle, take care of my business, and get the job done.
Jaquez, thanks so much for making the show with us today. Do you have any parting shots? Anything the audience, the viewers need to know before we let you go here?
Man, shout out to Sam Houston. Shout out to that community. Shout out to Howard. Shout out to College Pod. You know, that's what we do, man. Let's do it.
Right. Thanks, Jaquez.
Yeah, man. Enjoy that training.
Absolutely. There we go. Already training pre-draft prep.
Getting it early in the morning. Lorenz got to get up, man. Get it in. Get it out.
Absolutely.
Hey, there you go. If I was out there with that beautiful weather out there in Florida, I might have a little more motivation to get up in the morning, if you know what I'm saying. But that
A
was
little more
Jaquez
motivation,
Ezzard.
a little less pounds, you know.
There you go. There you go. You already know what it is. Hey, that was Jaquez Ezzard, Syracuse State wide receiver, punt return specialist, national champion in the year 2021. We're going to transition into another player that won a national championship, Clemson linebacker James Skalski. Let's get him on the show. James, how you doing today? Thanks so much for joining us.
No problem, man. Good to be here. How y'all doing?
Good, James. Appreciate you, man.
Doing good. Hey, Dana.
No,
Hey, Dana, I'll kick it. My bad, Dave. Kick it right over to you. Yeah, what questions do you have for James?
No, hey, I mean, first of all, James, appreciate you coming on here, man. But to just update our listening and viewing audience, how you're doing. Obviously, last time we saw you here, you went out and you gave some great effort. Got banged up a little bit in the bowl game. Where are you with that? How you feeling these days?
Yeah, I'm dealing with a little heel issue, and I'm feeling good. Just got to be careful for a couple weeks, and we'll kind of evaluate how I'm feeling, by the time we're out in Pasadena. But
absolutely. No, well, hey, man, obviously, as Lorenz kind of alluded, we got a second national champion in here, man. You've been a team captain. You've obviously received a ton of accolades. Which accolade, though, to you are you most proud of? Which one do you take the most pride in?
I think definitely, like you said, there's national championships and all that, but definitely being a team captain that's voted by your peers. That to me, that's one of the greatest honors you can do, just because they're acknowledging the work you've put in and the leadership you've shown, and to me, that's probably one of my favorites right there.
Absolutely, James. And reading up on your background, I actually read that you're a pretty good soccer player in high school. Now, watching you on film, you don't really play like a soccer player, right? At least how I'd imagine a soccer player playing. You're real physical. You're a really good tackler. How'd you manage to not get sent off with some sort of yellow or red card every game in high school playing soccer?
And that was actually a big battle to not get sent off with the yellow. You run into some kids, they just get knocked over. But I would say you say I don't look like a soccer player playing out there, but I think if the way I scan the field and read and react instinctually, I think I look a lot more like a soccer player than you think so.
Hey, no, maybe you're definitely right on those aspects. I was more talking about the physicality,
And James,
hey, Vaughn,
I think that as a scout, man, I think that at the end of the day, you're kind of undersized, square build. Guys are going to be shocked by some of your change of direction skills and things like that. I've seen you in person. I've talked to Woody down there at Clemson. I've been around the building. Obviously, we talk about your leadership skills, but tell us some of the things that you do extremely well. Plus, tell us some of the knocks that you got to improve on during this time right here when you're preparing for the NFL draft and preparing to get into an NFL camp.
Yeah, I think obviously, running the show defensively, leading the way, as far as running the defense, that's my number one strength, I think. But I think, like you said, I'm going to surprise a lot of people with my athleticism in space, with my instincts, how fast I trust myself and pull that trigger. And as far as just working on things, just maybe a little more coverage in space that I didn't even get to do really, just because of the structure and how we attack people and how Coach V and Wes Goodman now were utilizing me. So those are things I know I can do, and I'm excited to show that also.
Man, absolutely. And James, man, I feel like I've been evaluating you since about 2014. It seems like you've been there forever, my guy.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
But to say all of that, I think exactly what you're saying, because from a scout's perspective, we don't see you cover running backs man to man. There's not many opportunities for you for us to see what this guy's going to look like on an option route, or if he takes him up the field, or if he really has to cover a big back that is agile in space. But again, from a change of direction perspective, from short area quickness, that burst, that closing speed, those are some of the things that scouts will love. So I look forward to seeing you in person and to allow you to show the things that, were already maybe question marks and things that you didn't really get an opportunity to do at Clemson.
No, I agree.
Hey, James,
Hey, and James,
Vaughn
what?
obviously alluded to it, and forgive me, Lorenz, for jumping in here, man. But, talk to us about returning back for this season. Why was it important for you to come back for 2021? You could have come out last season, but what did you want to prove, and do you feel you were able to do that?
Yeah, no, I wanted to. I kind of deal with an injury at the end of last year, and didn't really kind of like the season I had in full. And I had a lot of good relationships with some of the guys that were coming back, and it just really felt like the right thing to do. And I'm so happy I did. It's been an amazing year with this team, and I just felt like I needed to improve overall, just as a not only as a player but as a person, as a leader. Before I make this next step in my life, and I know I've done that at Clemson. They do such a good job at preparing you for that step.
And James, watching your film, I mean, looking at some notes that I took, there's a lot of good eyes, quick processing, instincts, things like that. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or do you watch a lot of film? How do you manage to play as quick mentally as you do?
I think, a lot of it, it's a lot of natural thing too, instinctually just knowing where to be, just feeling it out. But a lot of it is film. You got to be a student of the game. You got to be able to anticipate, know the weakness of a call or the strength of a call, know where your help is. And all those things help you process information faster. So I think it's a really good combination of both, of understanding the game personally and instinctually, and also, getting a beat on people, before it ever happens with film study.
James, quick thing, man, before we let you get up out of here. The guys at Clemson always talk about you being a pro. Obviously, that involves leadership. Tell us some of those leadership qualities that you have, and then give us an example of how you've shown that over the past couple of years.
Yeah, no, I think I bring a lot of tenacity, a lot of chasing perfection, and that's a big testament, I think, too, to my coach for the last 6 years, and Brent Venables on the defensive side. He always showed up with this unmatched intensity. It has to be right now. Today is game day. This is where it gets done. And I think that, that's what I grew up being coached like. That's what works for me. And to be, playing for a guy like that, and then to rub off of me, and to me to be able to do that with my teammates, I think is why I've been so successful. And one of my biggest, leadership traits is being an extension of Coach V, or an extension of the coaching staff, and, demanding that perfection from everyone every day.
Hey, James, real quick, before Lorenz cuts me off here, I just got to ask, you guys got a ton of talent at Clemson. You guys have really your whole career, and even predating you. But if you could bring one teammate with you from your current team, who would you bring?
Oh, man. I don't want to make anybody mad. You know who I'd bring? I'd bring Brian Brzee and put him right in front of me. Yeah, I'd never touch a guard again.
There you go.
That's a good choice right there.
Yeah.
James, Dane just alluded to a lot of players have been through Clemson, have gone to the NFL. Obviously, you've seen a ton of them in your last 6 years there with the program. Is there anyone or any piece of advice that you received from them on your journey now, with your draft journey or NFL journey starting?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, you're going on to this next stage, and there's all these people saying you can't do this or that, and there's doubts that are created. And I think the best advice, I've gotten, and, it could be kind of mainstream advice, but just block out the noise and keep believing in yourself and what you're capable of. I think people say a lot of the same things when I, was recruited to go to Clemson, that I couldn't be this or that or do this or that. And, we're in the same boat again. And, all my life, all I've done is, exactly what I think people have said I couldn't. And I plan to keep that trend going, keep believing, unshakable, belief, and make the dream come true.
Hey, I love that. Love to hear that. And I'm really excited to see you work here in a couple of weeks in Pasadena. Before I let you go, or before we let you go, is there something that you want the audience to know about you?
I mean, I'm a simple man. You're getting a guy who loves ball, who loves the game, who loves what the game, does for, the world and for people, and, just fully invest himself in it. Is going to give every piece of themselves to accomplishing a dream. And I just can't wait to show the world, who I am and what I'm about.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks so much for making it today. And we're really excited again to see you work there in Pasadena for the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. James Skalski, linebacker for Clemson, and really one of the most productive players in the history of Clemson football. Let's be real about it. Thanks so much for making it.
No problem. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, James.
Later, man. Peace.
All right, that was impressive. I mean, really, our first two players here to interview, really impressive interviews. I think it's just going to keep on going and keep on happening, because next up we got Arkansas linebacker Grant Morgan, who just won the Burlsworth Trophy for being the best walk-on player in the country. Grant, how you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. But yeah, Burlsworth Trophy. Yeah, that's a great little starter point, I guess. But no, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to hit you with the same question I've asked a couple of the guys here, Grant. Obviously, one, fired up to get you on this morning. Can't wait to see you. You just saw us interview James Skalski. We got, really you two have similar career paths, right? Both of you guys have been underestimated, but both of you guys have defied the odds and played above what other people may have anticipated. But talk to us a little bit about that, winning that Burlsworth Trophy, but more importantly about being elected two-time team captain of the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I guess you could say kind of our careers are similar, just because we've been doubted a lot. We've been guys who people didn't expect to play at top levels, and we did that. The Burlsworth Trophy was something that meant so much to me, just because the year before I was a finalist and I didn't win it. So that was one of my goals. I set that as my goal, to be able to go and get that and be able to go and help this team win as many games as we can. But at the same time, I want to be able to go and try to do an individual award and try to get that award. So it was so sweet to be able to win that at Arkansas, where it's hosted. So it was really cool to get that. And it's just, it kind of sums up a career. It's like something that we set out to be. And I was a walk-on, so we set out to prove people wrong, and more than anything, prove ourselves right, and say that we did that for a reason, and we walked on for a reason at a SEC school like Arkansas. And for us to be able to end our career like that and be able to say, hey, we ended up winning 9 games this year, it's just such a sweet moment for us and for me. My family, to be able to say we won that award and be able to finish the career like that.
And Grant, what would you tell future walk-ons or players that are currently planning to walk on? What would be a piece of advice that you would pass along to them?
There's so much you could say. I think the number one thing is you have to have more self-confidence than you have self-doubt. I think every single person in the world has self-doubt. And I even have self-doubt, but I think the one thing that overcame my self-doubt every single day was my self-confidence in myself. It's myself just trying to be able to say, listen, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Don't listen to anybody else, what they're saying. It could be anybody from your parents that's saying, hey, you're doing good, or your brother or your sister or something say, hey, you're doing good, just keep going. But really, deep down, they don't believe what you can do and what you've shown. And so it's something that I've been able to stick to, and just being able to say, listen, you can do it. Just keep your mind to it, and you go put yourself up there.
Hey, Grant, obviously you guys have had a heck of a turnaround story. Coach Pittman's got a lot of acclaim. You've got a lot of acclaim. But we all know, too, that really it's what happens inside the locker room. It's about the players and the leadership and guys like yourself. Talk to us and give us a little inside peek about what has really inspired the turnaround that you guys were able to achieve here at Arkansas.
I want to give full ownership to Coach Pittman. He will never take it. He'll never say, hey, it wasn't me, it was our players. But I think the guy came in, he believed in us as players, he believed in us as captains, he believed in everything about us that we gave. And we just, when you got players and a group of guys that have been through so much, when you went through 2-10 seasons, and then you get a new coach again, you got players who are hungry. You got players who want to be there and want to win. And so when you get a coach who believes in you and gives his all to the program, you're going to have guys that will do anything for you, run through a brick wall for you. So we are so excited to get Coach Pittman. But the main reason is we don't have a secret sauce. We don't have anything that says, oh, this is what we did. The one thing that we did is we went to work. We put our blue-collar hat on, and we went to work, and we went and said, hey, this is the only way we can win games if we go to work real hard and go to work now. So it's been exciting and been fun to be able to end my career with Coach Pittman.
No doubt. Well, hey, you know what? We're obviously talking to James Skalski, and he was running through some of, his instinctual play, but obviously you bring the same, man. And you led the nation in tackles a year ago. You put up another, damn near 100 tackle season this year. You're one of the most productive Razorback defensive players of all time. What attributes do you think have enabled you to be so productive, to be so successful, and to have such an impact on this game?
I think it's my want to factor. I think at the end of the day, you got guys who are going to want to be there, give their all, and go as hard as they can. I think my thing is I don't quit. I think that kind of contributes to me being a walk-on and being able to have been doubted my whole life. I'm going to play every single play like it's my last. But my instincts is really my football knowledge is what I've always gave myself on. Is I like to be able to know what the offense is doing before I do it and before they do it. So like this in the Ole Miss game right here, and we knew their plays before they were going to do it. And they just certain things like this is just we pride ourselves on as a defense, as Razorback defenses. None of us are all flashy. None of us are all talented as can be. We're guys who are going to do our job and guys who are going to be able to do it every single play and play as fast as we can, as hard as we can, because that's the only way to play a defense. So that's what I'd say is what's made me successful.
Hey, man, kicking it over to you, Vaughn. What do you have for Grant?
Man, Grant, man, I mean, we hear the football side, and obviously being a walk-on, there takes a lot of competitiveness and strength, mental fortitude, and those types of things. So we know about you on the field. Talk about you outside of football. What do you like to get into? What are you involved in?
Yeah, so so kind of my school background was I had a pre-med degree. I actually applied to med school and got into med school instead of when I was deciding to come back for another year. I wanted to be a doctor. So whenever I decided to come back another year, I just kind of said, listen, doctor can wait. I'm going to play football as long as I can and be able to go about this and see how long I can play football, because that's my love. I want to play football as long as I can and not have to worry about anything. But me outside of school me outside of football is I want to help people. I want to be able to give back to my community. I know where people have struggled. I want to be able to be the guy that people can look for and say, listen, he helped me in everything aspect of my life. My end goal in my life is I want to start a hospital. I want to end up creating my own research hospital. No matter if I end up being a coach or if I end up playing football for 15 years in the league, I want to end up somehow having my hand in a hospital and being able to help kids or help adults with some type of disability and be able to research about that.
Hey, that's amazing, Grant. That's great to hear. Let's quickly get back to the NFLPA Bowl. What did it mean for you to receive the invite, and what's something that you want to prove to scouts out there in Pasadena?
Yeah, it meant for me, what it meant is it said that, listen, like, we believe in you. I didn't have a lot of people in my career of football say we believe in you. So NFLPA Collegiate Bowl invite said, listen, we believe in you. We believe you're going to go to the NFL. We believe you can play in the NFL. And that's what it meant to me. I don't know if that's what it meant at all, but that's what it meant to me. They believed in me. And y'all believed in me to be able to have me on this podcast or this show right here and be able to say, listen, we think you're going to be good. We think you're going to be that. What I'm proving to show is I want to show everybody who didn't believe in me that says, listen, like, why did we not have this guy in every single aspect of this draft? Why did we not have this guy? I don't want anything to say, listen, he's not what he says he is, because the thing about me is I'm the most genuine person. I don't really care about making someone look good or feel good. I want to be able to have people to say, listen, Grant's going to tell me the truth no matter what he does. And Grant's going to be able to say exactly if I ask Grant a question, Grant's going to give me the straight up answer. And that's just how I am. Because as a guy in my shoes and been where I have been at Arkansas, there's nothing flashy about me. I don't want there to be anything flashy about me. I want people to see that he's just going to go to work and he's going to get the job done when his name's called. And that's what I want to show when I'm there this week or that week. And I want to show, like, I'm a football player. At the end of the day, I may not look great. I may not have the fastest whatever, but I'm going to be the guy who can get the job done on a football field, because that's what I do. I play football.
And Vaughn will attest to that. And that mindset's what's going to enable you to continue to be successful. You've already been successful. To us, you've already proved the doubters. It's absolutely why you got invited to the NFLPA Bowl. It wasn't because, we didn't think you couldn't play. Obviously, as the future union of all, or as the union of all NFL players and the future union of all of our participants, we absolutely know that you have those intangibles that as that third, fourth, fifth linebacker on a team, you're going to contribute on special teams as a rookie. You're going to find a way to make it on the active roster and contribute early. You're going to be a guy that you're not going to be able to run out of the building, right? Talk to us, though, a little bit. Again, similar to what I asked James Scalzi before you. You got a lot of talented teammates. We got a handful of Razorbacks coming on out to the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. But if you could bring one of your teammates with you to your next NFL team, which one would you bring and why?
I heard his answer too. So it really, I don't want to make anybody mad. As a defense, we played so hard. There's so many guys I could choose from. I'd say a guy named Hayden Henry. He was my linebacker next to me. He's number 27. That guy, he would run through a brick wall for our defense. He'd run through a brick wall for me. I'd do the exact same for him. He's a guy who just flies around. He's one of the fastest guys I've seen. That's why he made a lot of tackles this year. So I know what he's going to give. He was a walk-on as well, and that may be why I'm a little biased to choose him. He was a walk-on as well, and he proved that he can play at a high level, and he did it all his career. And so I would choose him just because I know what and he has a family who's in the NFL. His dad was a longtime player. His brother still plays Arkansas. So he's a baller, and he's going to run his head through anything. So I would choose him without a doubt.
Hey, Grant, following your guys' season this year, and I think even last year, I think after every win, or at least after every big win, Coach Pittman says in the locker room, turn that damn jukebox on. I don't really know what it means. Can you explain to us where that came from, what the meaning behind it is? Because I love it, but I can't really place why you guys say that.
Yeah, so it's the Arkansas history. We had two 2-10 seasons, and then Pittman came. We lost to Georgia the first game he was there. The second game we played at Mississippi State after they just went off against LSU, the defending national champions, and they were ranked 16th in the nation. We beat them and at Mississippi State, and we're all going crazy in the locker room afterwards because that was my first SEC win, period. I was a senior that year. So we beat them. We're all going crazy. We had a jukebox or a MP or a big stereo. We had a big speaker turned on, and we were all dancing and stuff and having fun. And he came in and he said, turn it down. He wanted to talk. And he was like, afterwards, we all stood back up and we're like, can we play music again? He was like, yeah, turn that damn jukebox on. He turned it on as loud as he could. He screamed it. And then after that, he every single win, he started saying that. So it was kind of funny. He didn't mean for it to be anything cool. It's just, he was like, all right, just turn that damn jukebox on. It was hilarious.
I love it. Because I've been wondering what the meaning behind it was. That's a great story. Hey, Vaughn, do you have anything else for Grant?
Grant, man, I'm just anxious to get you out to the NFLPA Bowl because, man, Dane and I can attest, man, as former scouts, as guys that have connections throughout the league, man, like undersized linebackers, we're going to beat them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's our job, to get the best available player into it, understanding your skill set, what you do well. NFL coaches will love you. You know what I mean? Because they can trust you. Talk about those elements and how you've helped some of the younger guys advance and progress throughout their careers too.
Yeah. I would say the one thing that I've always been able to help the younger guys is like, there's no right time to lead. There's no wrong time to lead. I think as you're a young guy, I was a redshirt freshman and I was playing with guys like Dre Greenlaw and guys who are now in the league and playing there for a long time. And you can ask them, I'm the same guy as I was then as I am now today. I was talking just as much. I was being just as vocal saying, listen, this is what we need to do. This is, I'm not no expert, but this is what we need to do. This is my opinion. And that's what I tell the younger guys. There's no right time to say, okay, now I'll be the leader because I'm the starter. And that's the exact same way we choose to work. There's no right time to say, hey, look, it's my time now for me. It's my time to go to the NFL. Maybe I should start working harder. Maybe I should start eating better. No, like you should have done that a couple of years ago. Like you should have worked hard like you're going to the NFL a couple of years ago. So that's what I tell the young guys. that's why I attest my success these last couple of years is I didn't say, listen, my time's going to come. I need to wait until that time comes to start working hard. It's you better start going now. And that's what the young guys would probably say about me too, is because we have guys now who are texting me from our linebacker room saying, listen, like, I want to be that guy. And I say straight up, like, you are the guy. You're the guy right now. Go get it. Go be the guy that you want to be right now. So that's how I kind of help them and be able to say, listen, like, there's no right time to start being you. Start being you right now and be able to go get it.
Hey, Grant, that was really impressive. It was awesome having you on here this morning. Really motivating, not just for me. I think Von Dane, looking at your faces, you're as impressed as I am. Do you have any parting shots? Anything else that the people need to know before we let you go?
No, I think what people are going to find out about me is that I'm an open book. I'm just a football guy. I want to play football as long as I can. And I love playing football. Everything about it just makes it just, that's who I am. I'm excited to go out there and be able to show what I can do and show everybody what I can do. It's not going to be a surprise to me. Hopefully it's not a surprise to y'all now, but it's going to be fun. And I hope to surprise a lot of people though.
Hey, Greg, we see all that come out in your play, and that's obviously why you've been so successful. So keep that chip on your shoulder, man. Keep busting your ass. Keep, proving all the doubters wrong, man. I have no doubt you're going to have a nice NFL career here, and we're going to enjoy watching you shortly on Sundays. But first, we'll get you out in Pasadena in a couple weeks, man. So appreciate you for coming on here, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed the talk.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for hopping on, Grant. All right, so that was then the player interview section of the show here. I thought three really impressive interviews and three winners. If you look at the things that these three young men have accomplished in their careers. Von Dane, thanks so much for being with us here today for another NFLPA Collegiate Bowl watch list show. Do you guys have any parting shots? Von, I'll start with you.
Man, it was just great to get, you could tell, three leaders, three mature men, three guys that won't be a distraction within the locker room, guys that coaches can depend on, guys that scouts can depend on. Each one, they're going to have their deficiencies from a scout's perspective, from an ideal football physical makeup, but the character aspect and the leadership qualities and production on field, it speaks for itself. So they're going to be guys that once they get on an NFL team are going to be hard to cut, and those are the type of battles you really want to have because it makes the entire team better.
Absolutely. And saying that, we actually got a bonus guest here today, getting up early in the morning out on the West Coast. USC offensive tackle Jalen McKenzie. Sam, if we can get him on here, get him on the stream. Jalen, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Waking up, crack of dawn, 6:30 a.m. Talk to you guys.
Jalen, where'd all that hair come from, man? Last time we saw you, I don't think you had all that long that longness going on up top, man.
Inside my hair is 5 years of growing it out in college. A lot of USC knowledge, a lot of football knowledge. I say my hair grows with me.
There you go, man. Hey, obviously great to see you up here, man. It's been a few years for me. I don't know if Vaughn had a chance to see you since we were all out in Oakland, but obviously Jalen, kind of jumping on into it, man. You come from a great football family. Obviously your dad played in the league for a nice few years. Then it went on to be a very successful personnel man. Your uncle played for 27 years in the NFL. Your brother's playing right now in the league. Talk to us about some of the knowledge they imparted to you to not only get to this point and get to an NFL roster, but what it takes to stick on one.
Some of the knowledge they employed to me is just the day-to-day grind and the day-to-day process that I had to start as a young player. And I really had to learn how, with the information that they're giving me, how it applied to my life and how it applied to my position. And my role on my team. And so with that, I just shaped everything and all the information that they were giving me to try to help me. And I really looked at my life and my own individual position, my team, and I tried to nitpick and pinpoint anything in my game and my life that I could change and shift to understand more of how I can be the best player I can be, and also take information that I'm getting that some other people might be able to have, and to be able to give myself any type of edge that I can give myself in my own game and in my own personal life. And that goes with education and with school and everything that encompasses that. I mean, we're talking about leadership, talking about heart on the field and play, tenacity, all that type of things. I try to take the little seeds from everybody and just see how I can impact my game.
Man,
And Jalen, thanks. Go ahead.
Jalen, man, yeah, obviously, man, I've known you for some years, man, ever since you was a young buck, man, and physically, man, you can be physically imposing. You're gonna look extremely well to NFL scouts, to NFL executives. So we know the physical aspect. We know you played multiple positions in college, guard, tackle. Talk about some of the adversity that you've been through, because obviously what we're going to talk about, what people really want to say, you know, it's a football family. But what about the personal adversity from Jalen? I know about the injuries and when you were young and, you know, missing years in high school, whatnot. Talk about some of those things that have made you a better player right now and a better person right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I think that was why it was so important for me to listen to all my influences and understand how it affected my journey. And my journey, you know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I had an interesting rare disease called Blount's disease. And I was able to fight through that at a young age. And in a situation where most children with this disease have trouble playing sports or have trouble doing everyday life things, I was able to be in a situation where I could make a full recovery and a full 180 from that, and at a young age, and still be able to do what I love and play sports. And it was always that to me. It was always the love of what I did, and to be able to play sports and compete. That was always everything that I really held dear. And so I kind of just held on to that. And that's why one of the other things in an adverse situation was, at the end of the day, at USC, we signed the number 3 class in the nation. And I was blessed to be the last scholarship they gave out in that class. And so coming into a situation of big old school like USC, you know, all these guys and everything, and you're the last scholarship, you're the last, you know, guy that they're bringing in. And so it builds a fire in yourself to where my first instinct was to scratch and claw just to get on the field. And so scratching and clawing, getting on the field when I got guys in front of me who are in the league right now, you know, great players and all that, and great offensive linemen, and I'm scratching and clawing just to get on the field. And so after that experience that I had, just being able to gain the opportunity to play with my brothers, I then thought of ways where I could just be the best player I could be for them. And so that was always my focus. Was I've been in situations where I've had this game taken away from me, and I've had this game taken away from me from situations I can't control. And so because of that, my whole MO is to scratch and claw to get on the field in any way I can. So an adverse situation is, if I have to play guard, I will. If we're down, and I suited up, and we actually don't know, Mr. Vaughn, that when we went to Cal, my first time going to Cal in 2019, I was practicing that week as a second team center because we had injuries and stuff going on, and they knew I played center in high school. And so it doesn't matter what adversity or adverse situation, I'll be able to flip that and be able to, at least in every situation, like I was taught and like I was raised, to give my all for my teammates, for myself, and everything. So, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you know what, Jalen? Obviously, you know, we all know that versatility is the key to being in the league. As Vaughn and you just kind of alluded to, I was going to ask you kind of what position up front do you think you're most natural fit for? And then how many different positions, and tell me this now, man, so I can get you some reps this week out in LA, man. What all positions you want to play and show the NFL that, you know, you're capable of having 3 or 4 different position flex?
The position I feel like I'm most comfortable and can do the most damage as offensive lineman at, I think, is playing offensive tackle, just because of the way that I feel like I can start front side runs and get things started with my versatility and just the way I can get off the ball and my body frame, how long my arms are and everything like that. So I feel like playing offensive tackle gives me and the team sometimes in certain situations, in certain offenses, the best chance. And then I feel like also in certain situations, certain offenses, I can really help the team at playing on the inside because of my leverage, because of my long arms, and because of things that I can do on the inside to be able to help the team. In certain offenses, in certain ways that they run them, and that's just my experience playing both positions and playing multiple positions. I see ways in which I can help this overall offense playing different positions, and it makes me understand that there are different nuances to the game and different just things that you can do as a player if you have to be put in a situation where you might be training and playing two positions during a season, and how you can change and kind of tweak your position and your technique in both of those places to multiply maximize, your play. But I think if I would be able to, I think offensive tackle is where I can be most help to a team. But I also think that getting inside and there, and I can play left guard and right guard. And also in high school, when we played, a big guy, if they had a big guy on the inside or a tough guy on the inside, I'd slide in the inside and I played center. And if they had, somebody on the outside who we ran the triple option. And so, us running the wing T, it was all downhill running. So back in high school, if we had somebody on the outside, we needed to get out of there. I play on the outside. So I think in certain situations, I know how to get in the inside and bang with them guys, and then get on the outside and, pass protect with them guys and do things at that position to be able to help the overall offense. And I think learning how both of those positions, or also playing center and being able to make calls, I think being able to make calls and having made calls at center helped me at all other positions to be able to learn how all the offensive line works as a whole. And so I think that really helped me.
Man, you make it sound so easy, but we all know, man, even from right tackle to left tackle isn't easy. It's a completely different, muscle memory and, kind of repetition. I remember Bob Wiley always telling me hey, you can't just do it. It's like asking a golfer to all of a sudden, swing a club left-handed, going on over one side of the line to the other. But to have tackle, guard, center versatility, as Vaughn and Lorenz know also, that is rare ability for guys coming into the league to have that knowledge, to have that understanding. We know these pictures change, right? It's no longer just a simple card. You got a lot of moving pieces. The center's got to be able to call them out when you're talking about making those calls. Man, what are you going to tip the scales at when you come out, Jalen? Obviously you've been a more of a linear and a long framed. You're very athletic, as you've talked to. You've got great bend, which allows you to be successful inside. But what are you going to tip the scales at when you come on out to LA?
I'm going to tip the scales at, I like, since we were in the air raid at USC and, we ran a no huddle offense, a lot of things we did were based upon tempo, and also were based upon our offense's ability to kind of run at the defense and get them on their heels. So for that point, our offensive linemen, we like to be more on the leaner side, and we like to be able to, be able to move fast and be able to wear down an opponent all game, running that type of offense. So I was, my normal playing weight, like 315 to 320, anywhere between in there. And, so I'm going to be measuring out at 6'5", 310, 315, somewhere in between there, because until I figure out what team would want me, what weight they would want me to see me at, or, and also that also fluctuates with what position I'm playing, if I'm playing guard, or if I need to be ready to go into a game to play both, or I need to be 320, 325, or different things like that. And so we always talked about that in college. So I think, those would be my where I'm walking in at, where I'm going to be measuring up at.
Good.
Hey, Jalen, thanks so much for waking up with us today, picking the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl watch list show to wake up and giving us all your insight. Really inspiring story there with the things you had to go through as a kid. Do you have any parting shots, anything else that the people need to know about you before we let you go here?
No, that's one thing that's just important to me, and as I go along in my journey is, recognizing that disease and what it is, because as I moved from Wisconsin to California when my dad got a job, I didn't have access to medicine to understand what was going on with my body, and sometimes that can happen sometimes, and so if I ever wanted to do anything, it would definitely be able to shed light on Blount's disease, and that's Blounts, because it is a disease that is overlooked and sometimes can't be caught, and it's normally seen in mostly Black and people of color, infants and young adolescents, and those are the people I was around when I was dealing with it in Children's Hospital. So that would be important to me, and as I go along, is just shown that it doesn't matter if you have to have surgery. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with this disease, whatever. You can, if you want to still play sports, if you want to still do your stuff, you can try and you can get after it.
Hey, thank you so much for shedding light on that. And I hope a couple people watching this can get educated on it. Thank you so much for making it with us today. That was really inspirational, and wishing all the best for you in the next couple of weeks. And then I'm really excited to see you out there in Pasadena in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Man,
Thanks,
doubt.
Jalen.
Take
See you
care,
soon,
big
bud.
dog.
Now, Lorenzo,
Right,
I mean, you kind of hit out, the head on the nail, and I'm going to jump in and kind of address the question that you asked Vaughn before Jalen jumped on. Is again, I think last week we talked about just getting to know these guys as people as opposed to just athletes. But I think all four guys that we've talked to today, from Jaquez Ezzard being overlooked as a small receiver to two maybe undersized linebackers that were walk-ons at Clemson and Arkansas, respectively, to obviously Jalen dealing with Blount's disease and the adversity as a young child that, was told, hey, you got a hard road ahead of you. For all these guys, they had a lot of obstacles in front of them, and it all has motivated them in their own way. And, again, we've said inspiration several times in the show today, and, I think it reigns supreme, and it's just inspirational for me to hear of their fight, their will to succeed, and hopefully it's going to do the same for other people that have heard similar doubts and can understand that, hey, look, the greatness is in reach if you work hard and you do things that you need to. So it's been a great show, and I appreciate all four of those guys for coming on and sharing some things that may not be easy for some guys to talk about.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. And I also thank you two guys for being on here with me today, helping me with or conducting the interviews. Vaughn, Dane, thank you so much for making it. Excited to chop it up again with you and more players next week.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
man.
Lorenzo.
We've enjoyed it.
All right, so that was the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl watch list show segment of the show. Now, as every Thursday, a little bit delayed here, but we can't be signing off before giving our viewers what they want. Neil Stratton, CEO of Inside the League, coming on here. Neil, how you doing today, man?
Lorenzo, I'm great, man. I'm sorry that those are kind of tough facts to follow. Grant wants to start a hospital. Jalen has overcome a serious illness. I'm just trying to make sure my pants and my shirt, match. I'm just trying to get through the day, not forget to brush my teeth in the morning. I'm pretty humbled to follow young kids like that are so refreshing, but that have already done so much in their lives, and hopefully will do so much more as well.
Hey, you're absolutely right. I mean, that was a really impressive show, and a really it was really, yeah, I think impressive, inspirational. We've said those adjectives about it, and I feel the same way as you. Now, Neil, I understand we have a video of you doing combine drills before I get into the actual question. Sam, do we have that? Can we look at that? Because
I hope it's not combine drills. That could get really embarrassing. I mean, this is going to go bad to worse.
Because we were playing, obviously, the highlight videos for these players in the background, so we figured we'd have to get Neil some. There you go.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I
Okay,
guess
so
that's
talking. I thought it would be you going through combine drills, but that works as well.
I don't think anyone wants to see me in shorts and a t-shirt, man. That would get ugly fast. We have a lot of people that turning off our broadcast. That wouldn't accomplish anything at all. Yeah, but that's me in action there, and the awesome production team of Rick and Sam that have put that together. I think for the last 5 years at our ITL Combine seminar, they've done a great job. They do a great job making me look good, which isn't easy. So yeah, it's great to have them and great to kind of have them as part of the ITL family.
There you go. Neil, let's talk about the Friday wrap coming out tomorrow. What do you have coming for the people at InsideTheLeague.com?
Well, it's an exciting. The first quarter of the year is always the most exciting time of the year for me and I think for our readers. One of the reasons for that is we'll be conducting our annual polling for the Best Draft Award. So we'll be looking at all the teams and the players they drafted in 2021 last spring, and we'll be allowing active NFL scouts to vote on the teams and decide which ones they think did the best job. We'll take 5 teams, and of those 5, those are the ones that we'll submit for polling, and then the winner with the most votes, very simple majority, will be handed an award at our combine seminar in Indianapolis. And it's become customary for teams to bring their entire scouting department. So, the Colts, I think, had 22 people out there. The Niners, right around the same. Our most recent winners last year was strictly virtual. So, obviously, the Bucs didn't bring their whole team anywhere. But we're hoping that we can revive that tradition. The question is, who's going to win? And right now, we haven't even decided exactly who our 5 contenders are going to be. We have posted, Sam has posted, some of the teams and some of the picks they've made, trying to get a little solicitation of who the contenders are, who you think might be the best ones, Lorenz. Here's my 5. I think based on the previous votes, I think scouts want to see not only players that have succeeded, but performance that has reinvigorated the team. And so we've got a lot of examples of that this year. First, there's the Bengals. I think they're probably going to be one of the contenders. I mean, what a season. And what a season for Jamar Chase. I mean, if they got nothing else except for Jamar Chase's performance this year, then I think they'd have to be considered one of the contenders because he's been so transcendent. You can say the same thing for the Cowboys. Again, another team that had high expectations. They've outperformed how they did last year. Micah Parsons has been, I think anything anyone could have expected. May be more than just, I don't think they even need to have a vote for D-Roy, but maybe the defensive player of the year as well. What an incredible season he's had. The Dolphins, I don't think get a lot of credit for what they've done, but Jalen Waddle has been a hit. Jalen Phillips has been a hit. And then they've got Liam Eichenberg, who's a starter for him right now, and he's a hard-nosed, physical kind of player. The Patriots, I think anytime you pick up a quarterback who can step in and start for you and look like a guy who may be your franchise guy for a long time, you've got to give them serious consideration. They've obviously come a long way from where they were last year. And then the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't have a first round this year. They didn't have the sexy player at the top, but they've gotten an excellent center out of it, and they've got an excellent guard out of it in the 6th round. So for those of us who really geek out about this kind of stuff and like to watch day 3 more than they like to watch day 1, you got to kind of tip your hat to the Chiefs. Those are my 5, Lorenz. Any thoughts? Am I wrong? Are there teams that I'm overlooking? What do you think, man?
Yeah, man, and a star linebackers were what the Chiefs got, and Nick Bolton. I think those were 2 guys where I was thinking pre-draft, if Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton wind up sneaking into the late 1st round, it's not going to be crazy. And then they obviously managed to turn their 2 late 2nd round picks into those 2 players who've been big time contributors for. I'm also really happy about seeing the Steelers on there between the last 8 or however many you picked. Had a couple of conversations and arguments with people on the Twitterverse. Didn't really like that draft. I thought it was real good, so I'm happy to see. Obviously, they got, I think, 4 starters, including a really big time special teams contributor, starting punter out of that draft. I'm with you. I think the Cowboys got to be up there if you look at just the volume of players, but if you look at what teams had before the draft and what they made with what value they got relative to draft capital, I think the Chiefs did arguably the most impressive job because they didn't have a 1st round pick. They got 2 1st round talents, I think, if we're doing a redraft. Those two guys that we just talked about aren't making it out of the first. And then Trey Smith, who we know he had some issues with the blood clots, but he's been a star for them. I mean, just excellent for this running game. So might pick between those two, but there are a couple of good candidates on there. He talked about the Dolphins. I mean, their first 4 picks were starters. That's rare to do. I think the Bills got some difference makers as well. But even the Chargers, I mean, it's tough to pick for me. But let me say, as someone who appreciates day 3, I really love the Chiefs draft with the few picks that they have, getting as many contributors as they did, and putting themselves right back in the driver's seat to be Super Bowl favorites. I think we can all agree on that title, at least the AFC Championship, is probably going to go through the Chiefs again. I don't know who's going to get the number 1 seat there just yet, but they're definitely up there. But I mean, there's really nobody wrong to pick from here from this list. A lot of great drafts, and going to be exciting to see how they play out in the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that the Chiefs deserve special consideration because we all saw the Super Bowl, and we saw how Patrick Mahomes struggled behind that line, which had been hit by injuries and what have you. And the Chiefs made a bold move, basically got rid of almost everybody, really seriously retooled at a critical position, and it seems to have paid off. They're playing extraordinarily well right now, and look like they, like you said, the road to the Super Bowl is probably going to go through them. So you got to give them consideration. I mean, we've got a tough choice. We haven't figured out who the 5 are going to be, but they'll probably come from these 9, and then we'll see what the scouts say about which one should be crowned among those 5 that we choose. So we've got tough work to do between now and tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central when we send out the wrap.
Hey, and I'm sorry to not be a big help right here for narrowing it down. I
was hoping for a decisive 5. I mean, Lorenzo, you let me down, man. Come on, you got to give me. I need some help here.
Hey, man, I'd appreciate if the Steelers made it on there. I think they, 4 starters with those first 4 picks. I'd be really excited about seeing that. But Neil, before we let you go here, tell us about the Succeed in Football blog. What do you have coming there?
Before I go, Lorenz, if you want to see the Steelers on there, I have Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. So just a hint, buddy.
Oh, okay. That's how that's gonna go. Okay, I got you.
As far as the Succeed in Football this week, we will talk about our schedule for the interns at the College Gridiron Showcase, which kicks off on Friday, and we'll talk about the opportunities they're going to get, what they're going to need to do, who they're going to be talking to, who they're going to be hearing from, how they're going to get better, and what they need to do to make the most of the 3 days they'll be spending with us, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then part of Tuesday as well, I guess, 3+ days. So we'll talk about that. We'll kind of get into that. Hopefully people will read it, and hopefully we're going to have 21 interns this year. We're really excited about that. We'd like to have even more next year. We'd like to have a pool of 500, 600, even 1,000 people to choose from for the 2023 game. And so I'm hopeful this will kind of whet people's appetite and let them know a little bit more about what we're doing and help spread the word. Like I say, we're really excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a great lineup of scouts that we're going to have them talk to. They're going to be meeting a lot of people, making a lot of contacts, and building their network. And Lorenz, I mean, I think that there can be no better advice to give to anyone who aspires to work in the game, but you've got to get out there and make those relationships, prove yourself, pay your dues, meet as many people as you can that will know you and that will go to bat for you. I would, for whatever I've accomplished in this business, none of it would have happened if not for some incredible mentors that I've had. I mean, I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of people, and I'll never forget that. And I want to impart that to our interns. If nothing else, I hope they learn that this week.
Hey, absolutely, Neil. And you gave me the advice to pass out business cards. That's the word. So I just ordered 250, and I got 2 weeks to get rid of them all. So you think that's a realistic number?
Well, we'll find out, man. That will be some pretty aggressive handing out of cards, Lorenz. I don't want you to feel pressure to do something like that. You don't throw it in the trash or whatever. We are going to have an award actually for those who get the most business cards this week. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's but that definitely thankful for you giving me that tip. And I'll be, maybe I pass out 150. I don't know. You put 50 there. I feel like I can beat. I feel like I can beat passing out 50. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll shoot you a text after I fly home or when I'm in the plane, and then we'll talk about it. But I really appreciate you being on here. I think your dog does as well. And do you have any parting shots, any final words before I let you go here?
I don't think I have anything parting except for I'm looking forward to seeing as many people that watch us regularly as I can on the road over the next month, I guess. It's going to be a really busy week next week between the CGS, the Hula Bowl, and the Tropical Bowl. And then we'll come back for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there with Vaughn and Rick and Dane for the NFLPA Bowl. Right now, maybe that changes, but I'm not planning on being in LA, but I will be in Vegas the last weekend of the month, and then the Senior Bowl, of course, the first week of next month. And so looking forward to that. This is the most fun time of the year. I hate to travel except when I'm going to see friends. And I feel like every time I go to an All-Star game, it's almost like going to a party and seeing all the guys I only get to see once a year. So really looking forward to it. And I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to meeting you and so many other great people that are a part of this football fraternity that we all have.
Hey, I'm really excited to meet you too. Gonna link up down there in Mobile or see ourselves there. I'm sure we'll see ourselves multiple times, and really excited about it. That was Neil Stratton, founder of InsideTheLeague.com. Go check it out. Check out his book, Scout Speak, the podcast, best player available. A lot of great resources for anyone interested in scouting the NFL, agent business, or anything of the sorts. And excited to speak to you again next week.
Sounds good, buddy. Safe travels coming into our fair country from so far away, man.
Yeah, I hope they let me in, but I'm pretty optimistic about it now. Just a couple more weeks to wait.
All right, sounds great, man. Good luck to everyone, and safe travels, and be safe out there.
Hey, thank you so much, Neil. All right, that was Neil Stratton. I thought just a really really inspiring show. As I said before, we had 4 great interviews today. Had Neil on the show, who always has a lot of football knowledge, as you guys saw. Check out InsideTheLeague.com. Also check out SI.com/NFL Draft, where we got a lot of content coming. Me and the scouting team, we're all working hard on getting those reports up there. I think we're close to 500 reports, which is a lot, if you got, and then we also got articles coming out, as you're seeing there. We got rankings, reports, football news, covering a lot of bases for you. Go check that out. Go get the subscription. And thank you all so much for tuning in, for being with us, for checking out the show. And we'll be back for you on Saturday with the tailgate. Actually, it's going to be Monday, the tailgate show, because it's going to be a national championship extravaganza edition, which I'm really excited about. We're going to have Big Law, Alec, Hunter, everyone you're used to, and we're going to dive deep into all these prospects playing in the national championship, Georgia versus Alabama rematch. Until then, I'm Lorenz Lineweber. Thank you for tuning in.